Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So my name is Wemimo and I'm also known as That Mom of 5. So if you're new to my channel, welcome, and if you're also a returning subscriber, thank you for always coming back to my channel. So today I just thought I would come back here and just do a quick advice to mostly Nigerian students who are coming into the UK to study. Like I think I've already said, I think I made a video like that where I gave suggestions on what you should put in place if you're coming to study in the UK. So this is mostly targeted at Nigerians coming into the UK to study. So congratulations if you've already gained your admission and you're just in the process of securing your visa. But these are the things I really wanted to put into consideration. I wanted to do before embarking on your journey. As you all know, accommodation everywhere, even if you are traveling within Lagos or within Nigeria to another state, accommodation is one of the most important things you want to put into place before you embark on your journey. So same thing applies here. So when we're talking about accommodation, when here right now, I think it's just a new thing that the landlords have just started. Like if you know you're an international student, if you want to rent an accommodation from a landlord, they would ask you for a month's rent, 3 or 6 month deposit, and then they want you to bring a guarantor. So I've met a few people, like right now talking to you, I've got 5 DMs in my Instagram page asking about accommodation and asking a few questions. Some I've replied to, and the 5 that I'm talking to you right now, I've got 5 right now in my DM that I've read but I've not replied to them, and it's all centered towards accommodation and jobs. So that's why I decided to come here and share a couple of tips there. So for you to have decided that you want to leave Nigeria to come study here, you have to know it's money based. You have to be financially, at least you have to have the finances to be able to facilitate that. So here in the UK, if you're coming in terms of accommodation, in fact, before you even set out, like I said in my previous video, I did mention that make sure you arrange your accommodation, because living in an hotel till you find an accommodation can be very, very expensive. I'm telling you, it can be very, very expensive. So my suggestion in my previous video, which I'm going to talk again, is that before you come here, go to the social media pages of the university you've applied to. If you are a Nigerian, I'm sure you can easily recognize a Nigerian name from the list of people following that page. Feel free to DM them. Say, no, I'm going to be a student, so I'm coming to this campus. Please, can you put me through, like, in terms of accommodation, how to go about it? Some of them will reply and some of them won't reply. There's no big deal in it. So I just thought it's another avenue of seeking or finding ways of applying. And I believe the university have a list of private land, because you can only apply for housing through a private landlord when you just come in. You can't necessarily get a direct housing straight from the local council. It doesn't work that way. Maybe once you come in, if you're renting privately, and then while you're renting privately, you can always rent once you're settled, once you've maybe secured yourself a part-time job, because you can't really work full-time if you're a student. So once you've secured yourself and sort of employment, then you can start applying towards to the local council that way, because local council accommodation are much more cheaper as compared to private rent. So those were the suggestions I made in my last video. And then again, what I also emphasized deeply was that do not at any time send your money to anybody. If they call to say, oh, they've secured accommodation for you, please don't send your money to anybody. Don't send your money to anybody until you step foot in this country, until you've resumed for your lectures, until you are here in the UK. Do not send your money to anybody to help you get an accommodation. That's that. And in terms of the way renting works here, so nowadays I've met a few people, I've helped a few people in the past. So based on my experience on those people in the past, the way you rent home in Nigeria is different from the way you rent here in the UK. In Nigeria, landlord will ask us to pay maybe a year rent or a two-year rent. But here in the UK, it doesn't work that way. Your landlord will expect you to pay a month's rent, 3 or 6 month deposit, and then bring a guarantor. So that guarantor, somebody who was already settled. It could be somebody who is settled here, who is working, and they want a proof of their pay slip. Why they're asking that is that so that when you are owing them basic, they will know somebody to go and drag if they can't find you. So that is what most landlords are doing. In fact, I was just speaking to somebody yesterday. These people have already came in and they're actually squatting with a family friend. It is good in a way if you have somebody you know here who is happy to, like, allow you to stay with them pending to maybe you're able to secure an accommodation through the local house. In fact, it can even be much easier if there's somebody here already who can lodge you, or maybe they already have an accommodation with the council. If they can lodge you, they can use the opportunity to apply for you through the housing, so it's much more cheaper that way. So let's say, for example, now my sister comes in and I am living in the council accommodation, and my sister comes in and I'm saying to council that I've got somebody here who is a student, I can't lodge them here for longer. It will be easier to register them with with the local council, much more easier that way. It might not be quick, but at least it's a stepping stone, that is, you are getting somewhere. So in terms of deposits, our Nigerian students need to understand that yes, in the UK you'll be asked to pay a deposit, and when people are trying to help you, telling you maybe somebody else has a 1-bedroom in their flat that they are not using, and they are like, okay, we don't mind sharing, but you're going to pay a month rent and then you're going to pay deposit. For them asking you to pay a deposit, they are not trying to rob you. That's just how the system works here. Even if you want to try and rent with the council, you're actually paying your rent a month in advance. So before you get your key, the landlord expects you to pay your rent. Yes, they will expect you to pay your rent. So for me now, where I live, I pay my rent. There's a certain amount I pay, which means that I only pay 12 months in a year. And if I don't pay that particular amount, if I'm paying the other figure I'm being given, that means I'm paying 13 times in a year. Which to me, the 12 times in a year is more cheaper as compared to the 13 times in a year for me. So that's even renting through the local housing. But with council, I mean with the private lets will take your rent even before you move in and your deposit before you move in. And because other people who are actually maybe have a local housing flat and now say, okay, I have a spare bedroom, I can rent it to you, but I want a month rent, a month deposit. That is when you actually get a month rent, a month deposit, because most landlords that you go to rent now, they won't take a month deposit from you. They want 3 or 6 month deposit and a guarantor. So if you are lucky to find somebody who is willing to rent or let a flat out of their accommodation for you and they're asking for deposit, you should be lucky that they're just asking for a month rent. Stop acting or looking as if maybe they are looking to rob you or anything. No, that's just the way the system works. So I think Nigerians students coming into the UK need to be educated on that aspect. Nigerians landlord might not ask you for deposit in Nigeria, but here in the UK you are paying your rent and your deposit as well. And the purpose of the deposit is that if you are owing them, or if at any time you are shortfalling, you are struggling in a certain month, if you talk to the landlord might not bother you, because knowing that you've got a benefit, I mean they've got their deposit with you, they've got their deposit with them. And some landlord might say no and they might ask you to leave. And the purpose of the deposit is because maybe at the end of the day, if you decide to leave that flat, as long as you've not damaged anything in the property, the landlord will return your money back to you. That's just the main purpose of the deposit. It's not because they want to rob you or they want to dupe you of your money. No. And people have been asking in terms of job wise, there's a lot of demand for healthcare jobs right now. Like the NHS is recruiting, agencies are looking for healthcare staffs, and all these NHS jobs that they are recruiting, types of band 2s, you don't need any experience. You don't need any experience at all. And if you are coming here to the UK to study as an international student, I believe you just have the skills they need. You will get straight on to get that job. And like I said in my previous video of living in Glasgow or living life in Scotland, there are lots of jobs to do as long as you're not choosy. As long as you're not picky that, oh, I don't want to do this kind of job. As long as you're not like that, you will get a job and you'll be fine. You'll be just fine. And also, being a full-time student, if you're coming here to study either postgraduate or masters or whatever, you know as a student you are only entitled to work 20 hours or so a week. So it will be good for couples who are coming. So if the husband is a student, the wife can work as many hours as she likes. But I think if the partner is a student, during school time you're only allowed to work 20 hours a week. But I believe during summer holidays, when you are not actually attending lectures, when there are no lectures, you can work as many hours. But once school resumes, you go back to your 20 hours. I believe that's how the law is. But if there's anything changed, if you think that's if I'm wrong, please feel free to correct me in the comment section. So that's just how it works. I just thought I should come in here because most of the questions I've been having is like people are asking lots of questions in terms of accommodation. If it's possible to secure accommodation before you leave Nigeria, via somebody you trust, maybe like a family or a family friend or something, then go ahead and send them money to, you know, rent an accommodation for you prior to maybe a couple of days prior to you coming to start your course. And if you're lucky, if you have family members here who are willing to accommodate you pending till you get your accommodation, it's a good thing as well. But one thing that I want you to emphasize deeply is that try, if you can, to arrange your accommodation. Living in an hotel is very expensive, and before you know it, the little change that you came in from Nigeria with, you will finish it in a week or in 2 weeks, and you are here to get a job. People are homeless here in the UK. People are homeless. They are sleeping under the bridge, even in this cold winter period. People are homeless, and I'm sure you don't want to end up like that. So that's my tip for you. And I think what other tip have I got again? Like I said, don't send the money to anybody. I'm going to leave a link to some private let websites. I think I know of two. I'll pop them in the description box. It's just for you to kind of like go look through that website, pop in the postcode of your uni, so that you can have a clear idea of the distance between anywhere you would like to live, maybe not far from the uni or something like that. So I'll leave those private let website in the description box, so you can go have a look, so you can decide on what kind of accommodation you want in terms of how much you can afford, so you have a better idea that way. And when you are being asked to pay a deposit, they are not asking you a deposit because they want to dupe you. It's just that is the way the system works here in the UK. So I feel, or I hope I've covered that aspect. But if there's any other question that you want to ask as a student who is coming in, or a student who's already here, who is struggling, feel free to comment in the comment section. My email is in the description box. If there's anything in particular you want to ask me, feel free to send me an email. My Instagram handle is here. Feel free to DM me if there's any question you need clarity on. I'll try my best to answer them if I have the answer. And if I don't have the answer, I'll be happy to point you in the right direction. This comes to the end of my video. If you're not yet subscribed, what are you waiting for? Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and also turn the post notification on so you don't miss any video from me. And I hope to catch up with you in my next one. Bye.